Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to film today's video because today I want to share my thoughts on a fragrance from Lattafa called Kashaf. This was recommended to me, I think by 3 or 4 people. And when I heard what this is supposed to be an inspiration of, let's just say that my excitement went through the roof to test this fragrance. And here am I today sharing my thoughts on it. Now this fragrance, you guys, in case you haven't heard of it or in case you haven't tried it or anything, this is supposed to be an inspiration to a fragrance called La Capitale from Xerjoff. And if you haven't tried La Capitale, basically that is a beautiful caramelized fruity accord with a leathery woody base. It's amazing. It has some similarities to Mula Mula, it has some similarities to Zenobia structure wise, and these are the kind of fragrances that I am obsessed with them at the moment. If you have watched my April favorites video, I'm sure you've heard me talking about this DNA a lot. I am still obsessed, so I was extremely excited to try this fragrance. Let me just say from the beginning that this is the kind of fragrance that you need to give it time. But I will tell you all the details in today's video. Of course, if you have tried this fragrance, I would love to hear your thoughts on the fragrance. Let me know how it smells like to you. Let me know if you enjoy it, if you find it similar to La Capitale or to Mula Mula or to any other fragrances. And also if you know any other fragrances in this scent family. Similar to Kashaf or similar with any of the other fragrances that I have mentioned, please let me know because I want to try them all. Now first things first, let me add a little close-up with the presentation so you can see how the fragrance comes packaged. One thing I have noticed, I don't know why, but online the fragrance bottle looked much smaller and in reality it's actually like almost the size of my head. So yeah. And the bottle feels actually very heavy. It has a beautiful deep royal blue kind of shade. The cap is golden and the fragrance overall feels extremely heavy, you guys. And it's a beautiful glass-like bottle. So yeah, those were my thoughts on the presentation. Now let me just spray this fragrance. The opening is not the smoothest. Let me just say this from the start. The opening is not the smoothest. You need to give it around 1 minute or 2 minutes for the fragrance to get a chance to settle down a little bit, because the opening can feel a little bit harsh and a little bit flat. Yeah, but as the fragrance develops on your skin, that's when the beauty happens, or that's when, let's just say, the fragrance gets a chance to shine the most. I feel like in the heart and in the dry down, this is the best. Okay, so this opens up with quite a heavy leathery woody accord. Why I say like leathery woody accord? Because to me, think of the smell of like very old, dry, dusty leather that sits on like a wooden table. Again, like a very old wooden table. That's the kind of leathery woody accord I'm talking about. The leather here smells more dry, dusty, woody leaning than your typical new leather bag, new leather shoes, leather interior in cars, you know. It doesn't have that freshly dyed leather kind of smell. Not at all. Now the leather in the opening, let's just say that is the main thing that I detect. That leathery woody accord, it does feel a little bit sharp, it does feel a little bit flat, it does smell a little bit more on the affordable side. But luckily, as the fragrance starts to develop, what I've noticed, at least on my skin, is that the leather moves in the background and it acts more as the base accord in a sense, to add a little bit of depth to the other notes, but it doesn't overpower the other notes at all. Now you guys, I will let this fragrance sit a little bit on my skin and I will come back and tell you how it smells like, because right now all I get is that a little bit of an unpleasant facet, let's just say. See, slowly but surely, as the fragrance develops, I start to detect this beautiful caramelized fruity accord. You know how it smells like? It smells like you take some fruits and you dip them in melted sugar and then you let them on the side to harden and then you bite from them and then you smell them. This is legit that kind of caramelized or like hardened sugar, hard candy, sugary fruity accord that I'm talking about. It's not the kind of sugar that you have in Arabian tonka. It's the kind of sugary accord that feels very sweet, very dense, but it has a slight, how to describe it, a slight translucency to it in a sense, you know? And I smell strawberry, raspberry, and something peachy-like there to me. The raspberry, I feel like at this point, the raspberry is the most dominant fruity facet that I detect, and it adds a beautiful, crisp, slightly tart, cold, red fruity facet to the fragrance. And then as I'm smelling the fragrance, I smell the raspberry, I smell that hard candy sugary-like texture. I smell that leathery woody accord and now moved into the background. I start to get now the strawberry. And you know I love strawberry. At the moment, I feel like strawberry is one of my favorite notes. If I don't wear it as a standalone fragrance, I wear it layered with other fragrances, anything strawberry forward. It just adds the most beautiful, fun, juicy, flirty, feminine, playful energy to any of the other fragrances. And I just love anything strawberry forward. So I was very happy to see that the strawberry actually gets a chance to shine on my skin. Let me just say something else. This smells better in the sillage and in the air than it smells close to the skin. Close to the skin, especially in the first 10 minutes, let's say, you get a slight harshness, a slight sharp facet about the fragrance, but in the air, I don't get it at all. In the air, when I do it like this and I smell it in the whiffs, you know how it smells like? It legit smells like you take strawberry, you take peach, and you take raspberry, and you put them into melted sugar and you let them on the side to cool down, you know? You bite from them and this is how they smell like. You have that sugary nuance that's a little bit translucent but very warm and dense and sweet with that crisp fruity facet, you know. And I'm surprised at the peach actually. I detect peach as well. But again, think peach not just like a freshly cut peach, you know, that like crisp, airy like facet. That's slightly fruity but a very delicate kind of fruity accord, nothing overly sweet. To me again, this is like that peach dipped in sugar kind of peachy accord, you know. Yeah, now I've only smelled La Capitale once when I was in Milan, so I can say that I have a very good scent memory when it comes to that fragrance. But what I can tell you is that this definitely follows the direction of Mula Mula Modjo La Capitale, you know. This is the direction this fragrance goes towards, and it's a beautiful fragrance, but it's not the smoothest of blends. But let me just tell you something else. La Capitale, when I smelled it, it was not the smoothest of blends either, you know. That fragrance had an edgy and slightly sharp facet about it that to me gave it that unapologetic, powerful element in a sense, you know. So it doesn't smell just like fruits and a little bit of this and that and the third. It has something that makes it stand out in a sense. You have the same, almost like a little bit of a roughness here as well, you know. It's not so well blended and everything like this that you can barely pick up anything just like something fruity. It has an umph to it, you know. It has a powerful, in a sense, energy about it. See, as I'm smelling it now, I get nothing of that sharp, flat, cheap facets that I got in the opening. Now to me is that beautiful fruity trio that shines the most. The strawberry that smells like your fake artificial strawberry that I love, the peach, the raspberry. However, the raspberry, as the fragrance develops, let's just say that crisp and slightly tart and cold raspberry facet that you had in the opening, I feel like it moves a little bit in the background as well, and you will lose that fruity accord slowly but surely. And to me, it's the peach and the strawberry that will last as the fragrance develops, with that beautiful hard candy, sugary like translucent facet, with a hint of something vanillic, with a hint of something a little bit something like patchouli in a sense. It has the most subtle, delicate green facet in the background, something like patchouli, you know, but it adds a little bit of depth to the fragrance without overpowering it by any means. And you have all these nuances on that leathery woody base. Now look, do you have to appreciate leather to fully appreciate this fragrance? Yes. This one, compared to Mula Mula, let's just say structure-wise, it's a tad heavier, it's a tad stronger in a sense. Notes-wise, you know, like Mula Mula in a sense, it's all about strawberry. I get no peachy facets in Mula Mula, you guys. Mula Mula to me legit smells like strawberry with that beautiful hard candy facet, with a gorgeous caramel facet in the background that feels very warm, very rich and very dense, and with the most subtle and delicate dry woody hint in the background. That just makes the composition feel a little bit more complex in a sense, and it just supports the other notes, but it never gets a chance to overpower the fruity gourmand leaning facet. When it comes to this fragrance, in the opening it's the leather that's the most dominant to my nose, and then that leathery woody facet. However, like I've mentioned, as the fragrance develops, the leather moves in the background, but you still get hints of that dry, dusty, leathery woody accord. And to me, that leathery woody accord is more pronounced in a sense, and this is why I feel like this is maybe for some a tad more challenging than Mula Mula. If you completely hate leather and woody facets in fragrances, perhaps you will find this one a little bit challenging, but if you can tolerate them in a manageable way, in in a balanced way, in a sense, I don't think you will have issues with this fragrance. Now, if you've tried Modjo, you might be wondering how this one does compare to Modjo from Tweens Paris. If you haven't heard of Modjo, or if you haven't watched any of the videos where I mentioned that fragrance, that is an inspiration of Mula Mula from Byron Perfumes. To me, if I were to put them on a scale, the lightest, brightest, in a sense airiest, not necessarily the freshest, but the brightest out of all these fragrances is Modjo. There, to me, it's all about strawberry and caramel, and a little bit of musk and a little bit of something dry woodsy in the background. That's the brightest and the lightest. Then in the middle, I feel like it's Mula Mula. It feels a little bit more robust, even though it still has that translucency in a sense. And then the heaviest notes-wise to me is this one, is Kashaf by Lattafa, because of that really emphasized leathery woody facet. Yeah. This fragrance smells so beautiful, you guys. It's so fun. It's carefree, it's happy, it's uplifting, it's very girly, it's very feminine, a little bit flirty, a little bit naughty, a little bit of everything, but everything good, you know. It smells very beautiful. However, keep in mind, if you're interested in trying out this fragrance, it's not the smoothest of blends, you know. Maybe it will get more round around the edges or a little bit smoother as it will get a chance to sit for a while. I feel like by now I've had this fragrance in my collection for 3 weeks at maximum, maybe close to 3 weeks. I don't know, I haven't checked. Either something like this, you guys. So it definitely, even though it did get a chance to set for a little bit, it didn't get a chance to set for, let's just say, a few months, you know, so that I can see how it develops, how it changes and everything like this. But I can definitely see myself wearing it for sure, you guys, for sure. I can definitely see myself wearing this one layered as a standalone fragrance. This is the kind of fragrance that you could wear all year round, daytime, nighttime, especially during nighttime, on a night out with your best friends, with your partner perhaps, on a date night, or whenever you're in a fun mood, you know, like whenever you feel very happy, but a little bit like flirty and playful perhaps, you know. This is the kind of fragrance that to me suits this vibe to perfection. Oh yes, let me give you a tip. If you have this fragrance, or if you want to purchase this fragrance and you feel like the opening is a little bit on the harsher side, let's say, my piece of advice for you, it would be to apply this one. To be safe, apply it 15 minutes before you leave the house. So this way, when you will leave your house, the fragrance will already have gotten a chance to settle down, and it wouldn't smell as flat and sharp and a bit unpleasant, you know. It will have a chance to develop and to reach to the hard part and all the notes to go into harmony with one another, let's just say. Yeah, look, this is a strong fragrance, but you know how with certain strong fragrances the strength comes with a slight sharpness? Keep this aspect in mind. If you are one who has a very sensitive nose to Middle Eastern fragrances, I know I've had some people in the comments telling me that they tried certain fragrances from Lattafa and to them they cannot tolerate them because all have a slight sharpness. Some detect a slight sharp musky facet, some detect a slight sharp woody facet, some detect gasoline, you know. Yeah, Lattafa and their woods. Yeah, but in case you have any issues or you know yourself to be a bit more sensitive scent wise, I don't know if this is a good option for you. Definitely test it first. For me, I can definitely wear it. I get no gasoline vibes, you know, just the opening that feels a little bit more flat, but besides this, I don't mind it. This is everything I wanted to say. Don't forget you can follow me on Instagram. Here is my handle. In case you want to tell me anything, please put it in the comment section and I promise that I will get back to you. But yes, I will see you in my next video, but until then, thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I want to wish you an amazing day wherever you are. Bye!